Sometimes you may be tempted to downplay your achievements. You might try to hide or try to mask your achievements in an attempt to be modest, to not make the other person feel inadequate, or because you have self-doubt. When you do this, it doesn't paint a true picture of who you are. Now, sometimes in some situations this might not matter, but in other situations, especially professional situations, it can be very detrimental to your career and your future career success because it leads people to have an incorrect perception of you. It can lead them to think that you are not achieved, that you are not qualified, and that you're not good at what you do. This not talking about your achievements or wanting to be too modest can really play against you in many professional situations. When you're going for job interviews, when you're going to networking events, when you're in general business meetings, when you're in a sales call, when you're in a meeting with potential investors for a startup, when you're in an interview for a postgraduate program like a PhD. These are crucial professional situations in which you need to appear and sound confident about yourself and about your achievements. So in this video, I'm going to share with you 4 ideas on how you can overcome that self-doubt and speak confidently about your achievements. The first thing you need to do is to stop being so modest. Now, personally, I think modesty and being humble is a very admirable trait. And I think it shows that you're a kind person if you're somebody who tends to be modest and who tends to be humble. But as Lois P. Frankel says in her book, nice girls don't get the corner office. When you're nice, when you're kind, when you're modest, it all kind of fits into the same category there. People often walk all over you. You go unnoticed at work, you go unnoticed in business meetings, and you don't get the recognition that you deserve. And the worst thing is, this is not your fault, but quite often this is what happens. When you're modest, people will interpret that modesty as a lack of real achievement. They will assume that you are not competent and that you are not good at what you do. So if you want people to know that you are intelligent, that you're competent, that you're great at what you do, and that you deserve promotions or pay rises, you really need to make it obvious to them. You need to put it in front of their face. You need to communicate it in a way so they cannot miss it. Now remember, you may think that your achievements, that your qualifications, that your successes are obvious to other people. You may think they will just automatically know about them, but 99% of the time they don't. You really need to communicate it to them, put it in their face, make it very, very clear what your achievements are. And you can't do this if you're trying to be modest all the time. Another thing you might do that can stop you from sounding confident about your achievements is that you downplay them. And this ties in with modesty. So downplaying your achievements is where you might talk about your achievements to a certain extent, but you're not 100% accurate about what you have achieved. You downplay them. You give people a censored version of what your achievements really are. And quite often people do this because they don't want to sound like they're boasting to the other person. They don't want to sound all salesy and self-promotional. And also they don't want to make the other person feel inadequate about their own achievements or their own success. A lot of high performers tend to do this because they do perform at a higher level than other people. They do succeed at a much higher level than their co-workers or even their family or even their friends. So in order to avoid making those people feel inadequate about themselves, they quite often downplay their achievements and don't tell people 100% of the truth. Now, I found that I tend to do this myself, mostly because I do like to be modest. So when someone asks me, what do you do? I might say to people, oh, I have a background in accounting. When in reality, I have a Master of Accounting degree and experience as a corporate tax consultant at a Big 4 in Tokyo. So when I tell people I have a background in accounting, they probably imagine that I just work or I have experience in some small accounting practice somewhere in Australia. That's what they imagine because that is what I've told them. I've downplayed my achievements. But if I were to tell people the 100% truth about what I've achieved, that I have a Master of Accounting degree, I've worked as a corporate tax consultant for a Big 4 in Tokyo, then they have a whole nother picture in their mind of who I am, what I'm capable of, what I have achieved, whether I'm good at what I do. The point I'm trying to make is that the way you communicate your achievements matters a lot in what the other person is going to perceive. It has a huge impact on the perception the other person is going to form about you. The perception they're going to form about your competence, about your level of intelligence, about your level of knowledge, about your level of experience, all of those things, basically whether you're good at what you do. And when you downplay your achievements, it leads people to have the perception of you that is not 100% correct. And this can be really detrimental to you in your professional life. It can prevent you from being seen for promotions. It can prevent you from doing well in job interviews. It can prevent you from getting the funding that you need to grow your business and many other situations. So please try not to downplay your achievements when people ask you what you've achieved, what you do, or when you're talking about your professional life. Try to upplay yourself. Try to be 100% accurate about what you have achieved. Now we're moving on to some nonverbal strategies here, and we're going to talk about confident eye contact. So while you are talking to the other person and you're telling them about your achievements, it's really important that you have good eye contact with that person. If you look over their shoulder, if you looked to the ground when you're talking with them, when you're talking about your achievements, they're going to interpret that as a lack of confidence, or they may think that you're lying about what you have achieved. In order for people to receive your message clearly and to believe that what you're saying is true, you need to have good eye contact with the person you're talking to. So what is good eye contact? Well, basically you need to look at the person 95% of the time when you're talking with them. So maintain eye contact a lot of the time and try not to look away too much and not look at the ground too much either. And when you are looking at them to maintain eye contact, I recommend you look at this area of their face in between the eyes and the nose. Look at this area 95% of the time when you're talking with them, and it is very likely they will interpret you as being confident and confident about your achievements as well. And the last tip I want to share with you is to use a calm voice when you talk. A calm voice projects confidence, clarity, and certainty. If you're talking at a fast pace, people often interpret this as you being nervous. If you use a high pitch or you talk at different pitches, people can interpret this as lack of confidence as well. So you really need to use a voice that is calm and that is slow, so people think you are confident. So you appear to just ooze confidence with what you're saying. The next time someone asks you about your achievements, try to use a calm voice when you respond to them and look at how they respond to what you're saying. Do they seem more interested in what you're saying? Do they seem impressed with what you're saying? Read their reactions and let me know in the comments if these tips have helped you. I truly hope that this video will help you blitz your next job interview, your next sales call, your next business meeting, or your meeting with investors. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you haven't subscribed, then please do so by hitting the button below this video. And every week I share with you videos to help you on your leadership journey. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you next week.